Welcome back now, then. At 12 years old, our next guest discovered a family secret that changed his life forever.
The people that Scott grew up believing were his mum and dad were actually his grandparents, and his sister was his mother.
Who's got a guard dog on her lap, who's getting very excited about something.
I'm not the mother's sister.
Despite learning the truth, there was still one missing piece of the puzzle.
For Scott, finding his missing elder sister is the final step to restoring his family. And today I get to give him the brilliant news that Tina has been found. Well, I wanted to come here today because I've got an update for you. Tina has been found.
That's great news. Yeah, that's great news. Thank you.
After being reunited with his sister, Scott is joining us now with Tina. Oh, my goodness, that moment where Davina tells you that. Can you remember what went through your head at that moment?
It was a lot of things. It was joy, happiness, relief. I'd already prepared myself for thinking that she's gone and I'm never going to see her, but I just needed to know. So, best feeling in the world.
She's very much here
moment. And full of joy and life. Scott, just explain a little bit about your understanding as a youngster, as a young boy, of your family and the structure of it. Well,
I grew up in our house with my mum and dad, Sylvia and Ted, and 5 sisters. A couple had left, obviously, because the age group was very different from me. A couple of brothers, and it was just a normal, busy, hectic house where you're the youngest and everyone, does their thing.
But you were very aware that you looked different to everybody else as well.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
It was. You just know. You don't. As a child, you don't really know because you've got the relationship and your parents, but every time you look at someone, it's like, I don't look like anyone. There's nothing there that connects.
And so what was the moment like when you found out? You were 12 at the time, weren't you? You were very young.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, it was just a sibling thing, I had an altercation with one of my siblings, as you do, and I said, I'm going to tell my dad, and they said, he's not your dad. Which it wasn't done out of malice, it's just kids.
Yeah, just being
both
naughty,
kids, and you do that kind of thing, and obviously it was. I knew, but it was still a shock.
Yeah. And what happened next? Did you speak to who you thought were your mum and dad about it? What happened?
Yeah, obviously I went straight to my dad and said, they've said you're not my dad, and then I was sat down and things were explained to me.
And what was the scenario, Scott?
My eldest sister was actually my mum, and my nan and granddad were my parents. And I don't know if anyone else other adopted people will know, when you're growing up, you always go to bed and you think, yeah, my real family's going to come and get me at some point. And, I was with my real family. Yeah.
That must have been really tough as a 12-year-old to suddenly be faced with the reality that everything you knew up to that point wasn't true.
Yes, it's life-changing, but it's not even that it's not true. It is true. It's just not true in the way that you
was constructed.
think it's true.
Yeah, OK.
So then, were your grandparents honest about what had happened and the situation? What had happened within your family? What had caused that setup?
My birth mother had some issues and she had lost the 4 children. I was the youngest one that was adopted. The other 3 went out and I was kept by...
Your grandparents?
I was kept by my grandparents, yeah.
Right. So they suddenly discovered you had 3 older siblings?
Yes.
Which must have been quite exciting at the same time as well.
It is, because you're like, great, there's some people out there that I'll probably get on with. Although I did get on with my family.
Yeah, of course.
It's like when you're little.
And you actually tried to look for Tina for a very long time. How did you do it?
To start with, the only thing I was allowed to do was to put a letter into a social file, and then genealogy. I've been through the whole family. I've done all the tracing. I've traced as many family members as I could, and I knew what her name was. And then I was looking for people that were born around her age, like through telephone books, and then along with the internet, I was looking through obituaries and literally everything. So I literally tried everything.
And you found 2 siblings who were twins?
Yes, I did. I did.
Where were they? What was their story?
They were... I was told that my dad was a certain person, so I was allowed to go to the social and look for him. So I put a note in the file, and they they got back in touch with me, social services, with a phone number and said, this is his phone number. So I called him and he said, I don't think I am your dad, but I'm in touch with your brother and sister. And that was it. I'd found them.
Amazing.
Wow.
But of course, you still wanted to try and track down Tina.
Yeah, we've got a special bond.
Yeah.
Which I knew about before she even knew I existed.
Isn't that funny? So you went to Davina, you went to Long Lost Families. What was your expectation when you contacted the TV show?
It was my last hope. I was at the end of my my tether.
Yeah.
I just needed to know one way or another whether she was alive. Even if she wasn't alive, I'd actually prepared myself for her not being alive. Because that would, to me, was easier than her not wanting to be in touch, if that makes sense. But yeah, found her virtually instantly.
And Tina, what was it like when you suddenly found out you had this sibling?
Of course, it was a lot. I without wanting to be mean, I'd kind of written off the old family for various reasons. The cues I'd had throughout my childhood weren't positive from my end, although they were meant to be, they weren't.
Sure.
So it was a big surprise, but what a wonderful surprise.
It must have been amazing to know when he came back into your life that someone was out there looking for you and you mattered and someone loved you enough, even though they'd never met you, to search for you in that way?
I was lucky in that I had grown up feeling loved anyway. My adoptive dad is just an amazing person. Sorry, I've lost the thread.
The moment when you met.
Oh, yeah.
And
knowing
how
that he was looking
special it was because he was looking for you.
You think you're quite level-headed about it all, and I did think I had it all sort of compartmentalised properly, but actually that just smashes to pieces when you suddenly know there's someone who's taken the time to look for you so hard as well and so long. It's amazing.
Yeah. And you found out, Scott, you've got quite a lot in common.
We do have a lot in common. We both are travellers, as in we love to travel, we love freedom, same sense of humour, both father-orientated.
Yeah.
And non-committal.
Yeah, non-committal.
And you've both got families as well, so you've got all these extra kind of family members that you had no idea that you got. Yeah. That must be amazing.
Is there?
It's amazing, yeah. I've got a grandniece older than my daughter. So, but it's amazing. They're amazing. I met a few of them when we actually met on Long Lost Family, and it was just, it's your family. It's amazing. It's such a, there's nothing better.
It's amazing.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Sometimes it's never give up hope and keep searching and looking, you know.
It's lovely.
Amazing.
Thank you for coming in and sharing your story as well.
Thank you.
And for your dog keeping you so safe as well there, Tina.
He's nervous of the cameras.
Rightly so.